Dun, 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 dun. John chapter 18. When he said this, Jesus went out. When he had said this, Jesus went out with his disciples across the Kidron Valley to where there was a garden, to which he and his disciples entered. Judas the betrayer also knew the place because Judas had often met there with his disciples. So Judas got a band of soldiers and guards from the chief priests and the Pharisees, and they went out with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Jesus, knowing everything that was going to happen to him, went out and said to them, "Whom are you looking for?" They answered him, "Jesus the Nazarene." He said to them, "I am." Judas, his betrayer, also was with them. When he said, "I am," they turned away and fell to the ground. So he again asked them, "Whom are you looking for?" They said, "Jesus the Nazarene." Jesus answered, "I told you that I am. So if you're looking for me, let these men go." This was to fulfill what he had said, that I had not lost any of those of you who gave me. Then Simon Peter, who had a sword, drew it, struck the high priest's slave, and cut off his right ear. The slave's name was Malchus. Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its scabbard. Shall I not drink the cup that the Father gave me?" So that the band of soldiers, the tribune, and the Jewish guard seized Jesus, bound him, and brought him to Ananias the first. He was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who counseled the Jews that it was better to have one man should die rather than the people. Jesus and another disciple followed Jesus. Simon Peter and another disciple followed Jesus. Now the other disciple had known to the high priest, and they entered the courtyard for the high priest with Jesus. But Peter stood at the gate outside. Simon Peter and the other disciple followed Jesus. Now the other disciple was known to the high priest, and he entered the courtyard for the high priest with Jesus. But Peter stood at the gate outside. So the other disciple, an acquaintance of the high priest, went out and spoke to the gatekeeper that brought Peter in. Then the maid who was the gatekeeper, said to Peter, "You are not of this man's disciples, are you?" He said, "I am not." Now the slaves and guards were standing around a charcoal fire that they had made because it was cold, and they were warming themselves. Peter was also standing there, keeping warm. The high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and about his doctrine. Jesus answered them, "I have spoken publicly to the world. I have always taught in a synagogue or temple area where all the Jews gather, and in secret I have said nothing. Why ask me? Ask those who heard me what I said to them. They know what I said." When he had said this, one of the temple guards standing struck Jesus and said, "Is this the way you answer your high priest?" Jesus answered, "If I have spoken wrongly, testify to the wrong. But if I have spoken rightly, why do you strike me?" Then Ananias sent him bound to Caiaphas, the high priest. Now Simon Peter was standing there, keeping warm. And they said to him, "You are not one of his disciples, are you?" He denied it and said, "I am not." One of the slaves of the high priest, a relative of the one who ear Peter cut off, said, "Didn't I see you in the garden with him?" Again Peter denied it, and immediately the cock crowed. Then they brought Jesus from Caiaphas to the praetorium, and it was morning, and they themselves did not enter the praetorium in order not to be defiled, so that they could eat the Passover. So Pilate came out of them and said, what charge do you bring against this man?" They answered and said to him, If he were not a criminal, we would not have handed him over to you." And this Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and judge him according to your law." Then the Jews answered him, "We do not have the right to execute anyone." In order that the word of Jesus might be fulfilled, that he said, indicating the kind of death he would die. In order that the word of Jesus might be fulfilled, that he said, indicating the kind of death he would die. So Pilate went back into the praetorium and summoned Jesus and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, Why do you say this on your own or have others told you about me? Do you say this on your own, or has others told you about me? Pilate answered, I am not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and chief priests handed you over to me. What have you done? Jesus answered, My kingdom does not belong to this world. If my kingdom did belong to this world, my attendants would be fighting to keep me from being handed over to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not here. So Pilate said to him, Then you are a king? Jesus answered, If you say I am a king, Jesus answered, You say I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into this world to testify the truth to everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice. Pilate said to him, What is the truth? What is truth? When he had said this, he again went out to the Jews and said to them, I find no guilt in him. But you have a custom that I release one prisoner to you at Passover. Do you want me to release you, the king of the Jews? They cried out, Not this one, but Barabbas. Now Barabbas was a revolutionary. Okay, that is now chapter 18. We'll see you guys in chapter 18. Thank you for watching our show tonight.